Thanks, Idula, and hi guys, I'm Samitha, and I just wanted to switch on the camera and show so you guys know who you are talking to, and you are listening basically from who's this guy, who's going to take us through on this first session. So I just switched on the camera, but let me quickly turn it off so there won't be the screen looks bigger, and you will basically be able to grab the content of the presentation. Right. So before starting things off, I want to do like a quick thing where I want each and every one of you to introduce yourself with the one best word that you can put. Okay. So I will start it off with myself. Okay. If all of you can go to shared notes, please. And I'm just deleting whatever that's there. And then I'm going to put my name. And I'll just, relate myself to the best possible word that I can pick. Because I'm a food lover. So, and shall we see who else do we have in this session today? How well you can, describe yourself? Okay, so I see Yasas and Basit and wow, Dibula again a cake lover. And Shankar is an enthusiast. Okay, that's nice. Yasas a technology guy, good. And Intirajan, I'm sorry, it's Intirajan is a mobile gamer. And we have Basit an IT enthusiastic, that's good. And Shilan electronics, Sanjay an astronomer. I'm sure you'll be better than Chichi. And Amoda a social engineering. Hasit hungry. Same here, Hasit. I haven't had my breakfast yet. And Metrani. Lazy and TM. Yeah. And guys, the rest, can we also, quickly put your, maybe the best possible way to introduce yourself? Malit, Harvinder, Shamil, can you also put it, please? Isuru, Avidya, Ishan, Dilhan. What you should do is you just go to shared notes and just you put your, name and your interest, maybe the best possible way to introduce yourself. Okay, and those who couldn't find shared notes, I think you can even go to public chat and put it. So whatever the way that's easy.
Samitha, we didn't see you yet.
You didn't see me yet?
No.
Okay.
Did we? I didn't.
Yeah, we saw him.
Really?
It was starting, yes, I switched on the camera and then I gave a snippet of me so people can see me.
On the presentation. No. Okay, allow access via webcam. We need your permission to show. Okay. Hi.
Yeah, we can see you.
I just turned it off so then the whole screen will be with the presentation. Okay, my ugly face will not be there, no?
Thanks.
You are now unmuted.
Well,
Right,
you can
so-
put it full screen if you want, and then come back on the side.
I think we have most of the people, who
You are
have
now
put
muted.
what they can be called of, what we can relate them to. So let's just, go ahead with the presentation. All right. So starting it, I would like to let you guys know something that you already know. That is what this basically bridge is about. I'm sure you have heard enough and more about it. But then, to give a quick start, let me tell. Okay, there are 29 challenges in the bridge. 16 of them are basic and the rest are like advanced challenges. And guys, we have this board called a leaderboard where we can see the people who have scored the highest as well as who have completed high number of challenges. Okay, so what we usually do is, okay, we have companies who have partnered with this bridge program, and they can literally go through the scoreboard, the leaderboard, and see how many students are there and how many have scored high in that, and who have completed high number of challenges. So I'll take this opportunity to show you a snippet of this leaderboard, so you would basically be able to see what the companies see in terms of you guys progressing through the challenges in bridge. If I just quickly take you through the leaderboard, we can see the bridge ID from which we basically track the name and your basically credentials, and then the number of challenges that have been completed, and the scores, the average score that you guys have gotten, and the programming score, the English score. Likewise, we can basically see it, including the work status, what you guys have done so far. So this is where, guys, the companies will basically come and have a look, and then will pick, okay, fine. So this, kid basically, or maybe this guy or girl would be a best suitable guy for me to approach and see, right? So I think you will basically get an idea how, companies can, pick people from this whole challenge that we have put together. And then now the plan was on this future careers bridge was to bring you guys into Colombo, because we had basically collaborated with the Open University Sri Lanka and then started the bootcamp. But then, unfortunately, globally we are facing this pandemic situation due to the current COVID-19 virus. We are not in a position to basically bring you guys down here and then start the boot camp. So then we all, basically in a capacity forum had a thought about it, and then we discussed, and then we thought, okay, yeah, it's good. So let's start this whole program virtually, that we can meet online and then still, execute the same program. Only difference would be that we are not located in the same place, but still the whole plan, the agenda goes ahead. So that's how this whole program came into place. Right. And then, so before starting off the session, like the series, I think also I thought, okay, it's good that, all of us are on the same page and understand what is the situation here. What are we going through as a, global community here. So again, we'll take a quick minute and then go to our, shared notes. And I want you guys to let me know what are your thoughts about the COVID-19, virus and the status of world today. Shall we do that? Okay, quickly switch back to the shared notes and we'll basically, go and put your comments there. These people are scared, that is a known fact. Almost everyone is scared because of the the death rate in certain countries, and also because it's how we goes to one person to another. So people are scared, and then economy is at a 6. Yes, true enough. Yes, it's an eye opener. Yeah, I do agree. um, when you think about it, okay, even in our offices, in our communities, within our friends, we've been thinking about, okay, how well we can progress further, how well, I can buy the next car, or can go to the next house and things like that. But then right now at this situation, we kind of feel, okay, fine, no matter you have many other things in life, if you, are not safe, then there's pointless having all of that, right? So I think that's a good eye opener for all of us. Yeah. Any other thoughts, guys? All right, moving on. I will basically show you something that you guys would have already seen, but then I'll take a minute and then show you this. Looking at the global context, we know a lot of the countries are basically finding it tough to, play safe. Their, growth rate is incremental, like pretty incremental, and then, they're finding a lot of patients day by day, and the death rate is also going really, really, really high. And if you really look at it, why this had come to a state of this, it's basically two major reasons. Number one, they have taken it very loose. They're like, okay, no, it's not going to affect us, so just let it be. Because I can relate to it to a lot because our company's headquarters is basically located in the Netherlands, and then one of the countries which is had a very high growth rate, and still they go out. And when they have when they're infected, the advice from the government is like, no, you can just stay home and be self quarantine. If things come tough, you can just let us know. And then when I talk to my big boss over there, he's like, yeah, we can go out and do shopping and all of that. So they have taken it quite loose. So I don't think they have taken big measures to stop this. But anyhow, I would also like to talk about the Sri Lankan context as well. At the beginning, yes, we had a pretty, fast growth. But then I think towards the latter part, as right now, when you look at it compared to the people who are recovering and then the confirmed cases, so the active line, which is in yellow, seems to be somewhat steadily increasing, but then it's a steady increment. So I don't think we would go to a state where we will go to a great increment where the country will not be able to manage it. But then it's our responsibility to make sure that we do something, like we make sure that we basically want to addressing that, and we behave as responsible individuals. And I can see one guy having an issue in terms of seeing the slide. Ishan, can you see the slide? Slide එක පේනවද? මොකද ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවද ඉෂාන්? ඉෂාන්?
You are now unmuted.
Okay, Ishan, so what you have to do now, our slide මේ link එක refresh කරලා listen mode එකකින් නැතුව mic mode එකකින් enter වෙන්න. So you should be able to see the slide. Okay?
Any of you who can't see the slide, just refresh the page.
You are now muted.
Okay. Right, so what can you do? Now, again, a quick activity. I want you guys to basically, give it some thought. Now, keep this in mind. Y'all are new to the Bridge Challenge, as in like, y'all are the set who's all ready to enter to this corporate world to start working. So what can you do at this stage that you're locked down at your homes? You literally can't go out, right? So let's put our thinking hats on and think about it and see what can we do now. We can learn new things while we are staying at home, like reading books. Yes, we can read a book. And then what more can we do about it? See, if you really look at it, about this, virus and then stuff, there's very limited things we can do. That's true. But then it's an opportunity that we have. Okay, we have some time staying home. So how can we make the maximum use of this time? I think that's a good point for us to think about and say. Yes, we can watch TV, we can watch movies and TV series, and then we can basically do a lot of things. But is it the best possible thing that we can do? That's something it's a good question, I think, for you guys to think about. Online course and plan for reflection. I create the new application. Okay. Good opportunity to plan the future. Yes, that's correct. Good thoughts. Anything else? දැන් අපි වැඩ කරන කමියුනිටි එක ගැන හිතලා බලුවොත් පොඩ්ඩක් හිතන්න අපි කම්පැනිස් වල කටත් එක්ක කතා කරත් ලොකුම කන්සර්න් එක තමයි work from home දිගටම කරන්න අමාරුයි. Because of the status at home, and then there are a lot of people at home. So if it's, let's say, an interesting work that you do, yes, you will. Otherwise, sometimes here and there you have a lot of issues to do. Like you can't really focus and get things done while being seated in the same place. But then, alternatively, it's an opportunity that we have gotten to, focus more, and see, we can cut down on the time that you know, that you take to get ready in the morning, travel to the office, settle down there, preparing all your meals and taking to office. All that time can be saved. So how else can we utilize it better? I create the new application for COVID-19, pretty good. Yes, the API is out, so I'm sure you all can try it out and then do something. And exercise, very important. Yes, I learned a lot of things, especially cooking. Wow, great, good to hear. I work with Arduino board and make some projects. Interesting, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is basically give you an idea how we can prepare ourselves. Resilience is one of the topics that I've basically found out by one of the most leading research firm in the globe. First step, what they're saying is, yes, we have to basically solve this situation now. Once it's done, the second step is how we are going to come back. So for you guys, I think the most important thing is that how we are going to prepare yourself to cater to the demand in the market. Number one, yes, looking at the economy, it's a big hit. But then we are looking at the technology side. So there'll be more and more job opportunities. People will definitely focus on going online. So online business will be number one industries that is yet to boom, right? So people who are in the IT industry will definitely have an advantage in terms of the job market. But then we have to make sure that we have the knowledge that is required for that. So skills and capabilities is something that we can look at. If I improve that, yes, that's a good opportunity for me to grab and get that, make it to an advantage of myself. So how can we do it? Simple 6 things that I put down, improve your core skills. So what are these core skills? We call these core skills as some of the soft skills as well. How will you communicate? And see, one thing that I can, a quick, example that I can give is we are in an online community now. In a webinar, how we communicate, this is something that we need to think twice before we do. Because when I put a comment out there, not just me, everyone else in the, the participating can see what I'm typing. So we have to be a little cautious about what I'm typing, how I'm typing. That's number one. So that's basically part of communication. So when I talk, I can't be just blabber, whatever that comes to my head. I have to be a little organized. Or else whatever I tell here will not get communicated to you guys and you will not understand. So this is one of the core skills that I was just talking about. It's communication. Similarly, we have things like one of the more important skills is like, okay, working in a team. People are, leading about it, okay, working in a team, does it really matter? Like, should we really worry about it? Yes, we should. Because when you go and work in a company, or maybe you just start a group project, then you will start to figure out, okay, whether can I really work in a team? Can I listen to someone else's ideas and give this person an opportunity to, talk? Because unconsciously, sometimes it happens, my idea is correct, so I should only implement that. People, with unknowingly people do it. So these are some of the things we can think about. So sit down and think about them. So what are my core skills? How can I improve them? There's enough and more resources online, You can go to YouTube or you can just do a Google search and you can learn it. But again, through this platform, we're trying to help you out with that as well. And also one of the things is that sometimes, what we feel is, okay, I know the correct answer, but I'm not confident enough. I'll be like, no, let someone else, come up with something. I'll just wait and see. But then towards the latter part of the discussion, you kind of figure out, no, the answer, the solution that I had was the best possible thing that I could have told, So that's basically a lack of confidence. So these are few things for us to improve. If we improve these things, you are winning. You will be like the most required resource in this, industry of information technology. Right. So learning new skills. If you figure out, okay, I don't have these skills, a few skills that you don't have, you can focus on them and learn them. It's no big deal. There'll be people helping you out. There'll be more and more sessions that we are planning on, and you guys will be assigned to mentors. I'm sure Hasit will, give more introduced. Hasit and Sanjay will give more, depth to that little later on. So when there's something new that it's good that you learn, we can, you can focus that and learn on that. Number 3, working on mock projects. If you know skill, knowing a programming language doesn't, help you at all if you can't, apply that to a practical situation. As in, like, okay, you have to think of a practical problem, you come up with a solution, and you need to develop or create the solution for that. So this is basically a project approach that you take. So unless and otherwise you can practice that, I don't think the knowledge that you have will, be useful. As in, like, okay, you might know how to basically code like all the tags and stuff in HTML, you might know, but if you cannot create a simple web page using HTML, which is attractive enough for people to say, wow, this looks good. I think, there's a mismatch in terms of the knowledge that you have and the requirement of the industry. Okay. Very simple thing, read a book, because I know, sorry, reading is something some people are really good at, whereas some people are really bad at. And I myself was a very poor reader when I was studying, like my O-levels and A-levels study time, so I didn't read a lot. But then later on, when I had free time, this is basically after A-levels, I figured out it's really interesting. So nowadays, whenever I have free time, okay, one of the biggest hobbies that I have is like I read a book. This is not necessarily a technical book or maybe what you call something that adds a lot of value. But then, see, understanding people is also an important thing when you work in a company or when you work with others. So it can literally be a technical book that you can gain a lot of knowledge, or it can be just a fictional novel that you can just learn about what happens around. Then that is fine. Okay. And yes, very importantly, exercise, as one of the guys mentioned in the chat, physical fitness is quite important. So segregate some time, like, okay, make a schedule, maybe 15 minutes in the morning or 15 minutes in the evening. Do some exercises at home, because you need to make sure that your body is active. You need to keep yourself engaged in something that you're active, because you don't work out now, just limited to the small space that you have in your house. So keeping yourself engaged and active is one of the key things. And last but not least is the mental well-being. Sometimes, okay, we would be able, I'm not expecting this, but then there can be cases later on that we might hear people are too stressed that, they are limited to their houses, that they can't go out. So we need to think about, okay, what are the things that we can do to be healthy mentally as well. So then we have a good thought process that, will let us stay home and then continue. Because up until the country, the government raises curfews, we can't anyway go out. So this is a situation we have to stay in home and then focus and get something done, something productive done for ourselves. So mental well-being is also something very important. So you can, search it online, or you can just basically read some religious book or something if you are into that. Or is there an unreligious ways how you can get mental well-being into your lives? Do a bit of research and then, study a bit about it and prepare yourselves. I hope, okay, this will add some value to you. So then you can learn a new thing from this. Right. Last but not least, 4 key things to do at this very moment is basically wash your hands, cleaning the surface, no close contact with anyone apart from your family, close family members who are inside the same house, and stay home. Guys, again and again, I'm stressing this factor, stay home. Why is that? Why? Because we have to make sure that the incremental side, line that I showed you, the progress in the country, that has to be decremental. It has to be a steady line where we don't go to an incremental growth like the countries like USA and Italy and other European countries. So then, because our country being a developing country, we don't have many resources, as all of you are aware. I remember, reading from one of the articles recently, the maximum number of beds that we have, like the ICU beds, are like 2,000 or something. So if we run out of, if we have patients more than that, I'm sure our country will not be able to, cater to all the requirements. So best possible thing that we can do is where we can stay home and make sure that we will not support to increase this, trend in terms of this spreading of the virus. All right. So, okay. Now, what I think is it's time up for me, and I will give the control back to Sanjaya, so he can tell you a bit about how this online learning works and more and more interesting stuff about it. Thank you for your time and good day.
Thank you, Samitha. So anybody who has any ideas about what Samitha just said that you haven't expressed so far, feel free to put it on the chat. So let me just take the presenter and start my presentation for today.
Sanjay, shall we encourage them to talk also, not only to type in what they think?
Yeah, definitely we should.
Anybody has any ideas to share about what Samitha said?
Yeah, instead of typing in, you can just obviously say it on the
Yeah,
microphone. It's easy.
that's easy. Yes.
So use this opportunity to get to know each other, to engage with us. Otherwise, we might even not get a chance in where the world is going. So let's get used to this. So no feedback. Come on, guys, you can do better. Unmute your mic and tell something about what are your thoughts. Like, let's take a couple of minutes and then engage to the presentation. Okay, seems like you can just go ahead and do the presentation itself.
Sure.
Okay, I hope everyone can see my screen. Can you drop a message if you can see my screen?
Yes,
Can see.
yeah.
Great.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So now the all the hype is about online working and online learning. There were methods of remote working and remote learning even prior to this COVID-19 situation. But after the world has to stay home and work, the importance of this and the dynamics of this has changed big time. So we are looking at a future where the traditional way of working, traditional way of learning will be quite different. My personal opinion is if we are able to break out from this COVID-19 situation in the next couple of months, during the next 6 months, the world, 80% of the people who had to resort to online working and learning will go back to the traditional methods. And the people, 20% of those people will actually stay in this realm, right? Most people will go back, most will stay. So having said that, it's again, as IT people, the situation is different for us because we were anyway using these tools. Now we have to use it more. So it's kind of an easy transition for us compared to other people. So let's go on slide. So so people who don't know me, here I am. So I am acting as CEO of two companies. One is elearning.lk, which is the company that developed this software, that improves this software. And there's another software we are doing a LMS platform. And all these projects were started a few years ago, and now they
You are now
the
muted.
benefits of remote working and learning. So obviously it's the productivity issue, right? So these are not just I am saying this to you. These are researchers done by Harvard, Stanford, and Global Workplace Analytics Institutes, and I have summarized them, and I found some articles on Forbes as well. So basically, what they say is productivity goes high when we are working from home. But there are two aspects to this. Productivity goes high if you are a creative worker, right? If you want to think and imagine more, your work line is geared in a way that you have to think and have some free space. Obviously, your productivity will go high when you start working from home. But if you are into, so those are the downsides. I will come to that later. So on average, they have found that there's a 40% increase in productivity compared to the people who are working in the offices when they're working from home, right? So that's a good thing. And for me personally, the best outcome of working from home is the reduction of the commute time. So I don't have to waste my time driving, staying in traffic like that. So that is a big plus for me. But not every person feels the same. Some people actually needs to have structure and actually need to get out of their house in order to work. So if you can hear the background, you can see what I'm talking about. So they are all, quarreling with each other, my children, and it's really hard for me to concentrate on a presentation, and that happens. So the second one is performance. So performance, like it's kind of like there's no one to look over you, right? So the boss isn't looking over your shoulder, your colleague is not with you, so you can, you can do whatever you want. You can you can watch a movie while you work, you can put a second screen and do whatever in that while chat, go to Facebook, do whatever you want, and while working. So again, in a sense, it's kind of a balanced out thing, right? Some people are used to this. Like for me, I'm good at doing two things at once. Obviously your brain works in a way that you can only focus on one thing at once, but again, you can switch off between programs, right? You can switch between programs. So for me, it's pretty easy, but for some people it's not. So again, this comes down to a personal choice and how each individual is ready to accept this new working dimension. So it's really hard to explain that. We can't say definitely your productivity will go up, you will do more when you're at home, but again, it's a very individual choice. But now the thing is that even though it's an individual choice or not, you are forced to do it. So let's try to make the most of it. For the engagement, right? So engagement in the sense like, yeah, this is a plus. This is a plus because in my company also, they don't ask for any leaves now, right? They can't ask for leaves because they will end up at home, right? Anyways. So when working from home, they don't have to ask for leaves. They can work any time they want, day or night. They don't have to get delayed to the work. Nothing like that is there. So it's, in a way, it's good. Like and also for my company, the government and the mercantile holidays doesn't matter anymore when they're working from home, right? Right? So they have the freedom of choosing their own time, as well as we have the freedom of telling them what to do in their own time. So it's really not a problem of holidays anymore, at least for me. That's my experience. And here we talk about something called absenteeism. Absenteeism is again getting leaves and people getting sick and not coming to work like that. So that is really reduced in this scenario. And of course, people cannot just lay around and do nothing, right? So they have to engage in something. So why not engage in the work they love? Again, all of this comes down to your working culture, your attitudes towards working and all that. So the retention. Okay, 54%, this is a Stanford research as I remember, 54% of employees say they would change jobs for one that offered them more flexibility, which results in an average of 12% turnover reduction. So people, especially in the IT industry, we tend to love our freedom and free thinking and having less stress, because IT work, if you're into software development, is quite stressful, right? You have to meet the deadlines, you have to fix bugs, you have to deal with the clients, you have to deal with the QA teams. It's quite stressful, all right? So what happens is, if you have a very calm and quiet environment around you, you are likely to work more efficiently, and you tend to focus on your work and fall in love with it. And that leads to retention, employee retention, less stress. That leads to employee retention. So if they have flexibility, there are obviously people who are married and have kids, and you have to drive the kids to school, right? You have to get them from school. So there are a lot of things like that you have to do. If you are a working mom, the situation is even worse. So the possibility of doing it on your own time really appeals to them. The profitability. Okay, now here's the thing. So here I'm only talking about the benefits from the employee's perspective or the staff's perspective. There's a set of benefits for the employers as well, which I'm not going to cover in this, right? Which I will cover in some other session. So profitability as well, because here I just touched it, right? So for an individual, there's profitability also. Like you don't have to commute that particular, like you don't have to eat outside, right? So that entire money that you spent is now saved. So you don't have to put petrol to your car or pay for transit. Nothing is there. So that's a huge saving on your part. And obviously, I would count like for me, since I'm working from home, I think I have saved about 25,000 rupees thus far. So that is there. Okay, so next, let's move on. Those are the benefits of remote working and learning. There are a couple of more. So less time spent commuting, already covered this. Flexibility allows you to keep people happy and engaged. Yes, for most it does. So better use of technology. Now this is where we have to make the most of it, right? So we have to, so when we are forced to remote work, we still have to keep our productivity high. We still have to keep our collaboration levels high, communication high. So with IT and technology, we can actually do it better. Sometimes better than we are sitting next to each other, right? What happens when we are sitting next to each other is we tell them something, we discuss something, and if we forget it, that's that. But what happens when we do like this, even though you can't see me, whatever I did, whatever I said, whatever you did, whatever you said, even we can turn on the camera and see each other, all that is recorded. So it's available for future reference. So there are aspects of remote working and learning that are better than actually sitting next to each other. But you have to have your social time, and which I believe, hopefully, we can have it within the next couple of months. We have lower overheads because we don't need to maintain staff. We don't need to clean the offices. We don't need to provide tea. And we don't need to use the office's internet connection anymore. So there's that. And as employers, there's a wider talent pool out there. Like you can hire from freelancing community just for that job. So they can work from home, get the job done, get that project done and disperse, and then come back to the next project if needed. So you don't have long-term commitments. So there are pros and cons of that. But generally, that's the case. And that's where world was heading to anyway. Not because of COVID, it was how it was going anyways. And most people I know in the IT industry, even at my office also, I'm sure Hasit also knows this, that all these employees are moonlighting in the sense they do two jobs, like they do the regular job, and they go home, they do online freelancing, and they can sometimes they earn more doing freelancing than the regular job. That's there also sometimes, very rare cases. So the downside. So let's discuss the downside. The presenteeism. So what's presenteeism? Presenteeism is like you say you are present to the job, but actually you are ice gun. So when working from home, that's there. When you see the bed, you have to feel like lying down, have a little nap, then come back, work 5 minutes again. You are being distracted. You are not doing the work as you're supposed to, right? Your productivity goes down. So this happens for most people, and they need to make sure that doesn't happen by following changing their lifestyle. So we are in a process of changing our lifestyles, and you must work and find a structure for yourself that you doesn't fall into that trap, doesn't fall into that lazy schedule, lazy way of doing things in your daily lives. You have to have it. For example, I started by cleaning my desk because I'm very disturbed when I see my desk untidy. So first thing I did was clean my desk. So like that, you have to invent stuff to keep your mind fresh and your body fresh. Then only you can focus and work. Right? If you start sleeping or watching movies all the time, so you won't even notice how the time flies by. Right? Even for me, I lost track of days. Right? I know normally previously I could, when the structure was there, when we were going to offices, I could tell which without looking at a calendar which day was that. But now I can't. And sometimes I tend to work on Sundays thinking that this is office day. In a way it's good. But again, so that this can be easily gone out of your hands. So that you have to control it. You have to be in the presence of mind to control it. So that's a very basic and very important thing. And there's are infrastructure issues. Luckily for everyone who's connected here doesn't seems to have that. So most people, when I do webinars, some of them cannot connect because their internet connection is slow, or their data costs are high. They can't top up their data, and some of the people have lost their jobs, so they don't have money to put up. They are not willing to spend at this moment for that. So that, like that, there are infrastructure issues that we have to do. I mean, if a country is truly focusing on remote working and all that, the ISPs need to do a better job than this. They're already doing a good job. They're keeping connectivity. That's why how we can even connect like this. But I think they can do more. So the lack of structure, which I told you about, that we don't have a proper schedule now, like we make our own time like that. So make sure that you have some sort of a mental structure and you stick to it. Otherwise, this could really go out of hand. And again, working from home, from my experience, repetitive tasks are boring, right? If you have to do the same thing again and again, like preparing employee salaries or editing some documents that you do every day, like just update documents to report tasks and all that, something like that, a repetitive job, it's kind of boring in a remote working setting, because you need that energy and engagement of talking to other people, cracking a joke, right? When you work alone, that repetitive part really gets boring. So that's where that productivity level goes down. But again, if you're in a creative job, you have to imagine a lot of things. Then working from home, sitting on your couch, eating a pizza, and then do some coding or do a musical or paint something, then that really comes in handy, the time that we have given now. So I would like to just go ahead and now we'll go to the tools. Okay. So what are the tools that we use, that I have used for remote working? There are thousands of tools. So you might have different experiences. So I'll just go through what I have experienced so far. So these tools will allow team to collaborate, communicate, and track work. So mainly remote working has these three dimensions: collaborate, communicate, and track work. And if you are into software engineering, your manufacturing part also happens on your computer, which has a bunch of softwares for that as well, right? So all these things you might already know. So the communication happens on platforms like this, right? This is CyberTeach, which is a Sri Lankan platform for online meetings and remote sessions. And there's a similar platform where you already know that there's a thing called Zoom and Google Meet, right? Skype, all those are for communication. And then there's a thing called collaboration, which we just did as an example. On our shared notes, we collaborated together. We created a document together. So for that, we have professional tools like Google Docs, Microsoft 365. Pretty soon, we will introduce our own as well. Because currently our need of the hour is that we have to build our own software to get the dollars going out of the country, because the dollar is, I think, will hit 250. So it's gonna be a real hit on our GDP in the next year or maybe next 5 years. So we have to contain that and get the economy back on track. Every country faces that situation now, but we are worst hit because our dollar to rupee ratio is really bad. And then the development. Okay, before that, I'll come to project management. So communication, collaboration, project management. Project management, we have tools like Asana, which I use, and there are Todoist, like to-do list management softwares. To-do is one example, and we have something called Jira, which is also to track project issues and work. So you can assign employees to certain tasks and monitor the deadlines, see the progress, communicate on those issues. So these project management tools are really helpful when you're doing remote work. Otherwise, you don't know which is what, where are we on the project, and what are the client's requirements, are we building the correct requirement. A lot of these things happen. I mean, a lot of things matter in that case. And then the development, which is where actual work happens. All those are supporting tasks. So development, we use a repository called Git. People who don't know Git, what happens is when several people work on a coding project or a software development project, they have to combine their work at the end of the day or somewhere in between. So they have to upload their own versions of the code and assemble it assemble the software. So you have to do your part and then publish it, and the other person do their part and then commit that, and we finally have a single software in hand. So for to do that, there's a platform called JIT which we can use. So if you want to know more about JIT, just do a Google search. And there are IDEs, integrated development environments. So most integrated development environments work alone and then actually links up with JIT to submit the code. But there's another set of software called Adobe Creative Suite, right? Adobe Creative Suite, which comprises of about 50 something software. For example, Adobe Dreamweaver, Photoshop, Audition, Premiere, Captivate. There are many different aspects, many different software for different aspects. So all these, actually Adobe has created a network where they can all work together and share data, share files. So it's a real good environment to work in if you are doing remote work. But having said that, there can be thousands more, which so you have to find what's exactly matching to you. So I have mentioned some of the names of the software. You can feel free to check them out. So the next slide I have, I put a screenshot in the Asana workspace that we use, which is a project management software. So as you can see, we have on here, you can see this part, we have the different channels or different threads, right? Or different projects, you could say, that we could change and exchange ideas on. So here it says what are the tasks assigned to me, what are the inbox messages that I have from my other staff members, and here it gives a summary of what's going on, right? You can just expand them and go in, and for each task item you can put your comment, mark them as complete, so you can do all that. And also you can take a report on everybody's productivity at the end of the day compared to the previous period. So those things are really important as a manager to manage your companies. So I have left this slide open. So I'm going to allow you guys to draw on it. Don't draw on it. I mean, or you can use this or the chat and let me know what are the software you guys know in regards to remote working. You can draw on this or you can just put it on the chat, public chat. Yeah, Slack is a really good software. Yeah. You can actually couple Slack with Asana and then have separate Slack threads for each of the tasks, which is a really cool feature. Currently, I only have 4 employees in e-learning, so I don't need to use that. But definitely when it goes past 10 or so, I will definitely start using it. Microsoft Teams is another good software, yes. Zoom, yes. That's for collaboration. Sorry, communication. And I would invite you guys to try this software out as well. We are also having a free version at CyberTeach. So you guys could try the free version and give me your feedback. So we have to improve our own software, right? Through this link, you can do it. One password. I'm not familiar with one password, but definitely I will look it up. Okay, so I think that would cover that part. So let's move on to the second slide. Okay, now we are so we covered working. Now we are going to learning. Only a couple of slides more. So learning remotely. So we have online academies and KMSs. Online academies, as the name suggests, are places where digital content for learning, grading, and certification exists. So you can learn. If you want to grade yourself, you can just do the test and you test your knowledge. And if you want to get certified, some of the institutes, they actually charge for that. And you can get a certification, right? These are world-class institutes that I have listed here. So most of them you may or may not be familiar with, but I invite you to try them out. And we have our own platform here in Sri Lanka that we are building. So it's called elearning.lk, which focuses more on the local languages and then try to offer the same set of courses that the other institutes in the above does. So we are working on that. And if you guys know anyone or you yourself can contribute your knowledge, obviously there's a financial model involved. so you guys can earn something on the side as well, and come in and on the platform and register as a teacher and start teaching. That you can do, or you can learn from the stuff that we have. We have a course on programming. There are a few other IT courses coming up. So KMS is a knowledge management system. So what happens is, instead of being acting as an academy, what we do is we have a repository of knowledge. The organization, every organization has people, and people has knowledge, data, knowledge, wisdom, right? So we can record it for future generations, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you record it from someone who already did that, you only have to learn it from that person. So to facilitate that in a software way, by a software, we have developed KMS. KMS is global term. There are many KMS systems out there. So our elearning.lk also has a software as a service solution where it can work as a knowledge management software. So this can be done. KMSs can be installed in any organization, and most of the employee training, recruitment training. When you hire a new person, you go through the process, and they come out as a work ready person, right? You don't have to train them on the job. You can ask them to learn this stuff and then come. Especially in the software field, this is really easy to do if you have a knowledge management system. And all of the other facility, other software, like even Slack does act as a knowledge management system in a certain aspect. So what are the, okay, so again, I'm going back and asking you, what are the knowledge management systems and online academies that you guys are familiar with? Either type here or draw. Codecamp, yes. Code.org, it's a really good place to learn coding. Scratch is another place which we have a challenge on our Future Career Split challenge list. W3 schools, basically everyone started off there like 20 years ago. Plural site, not familiar with that, but I will definitely check that out. Khan Academy, yes, very famous online academy. Code Academy, yes. So most of these are video-based learning, which people actually, engage. So the difference tells that there are thousands of sites which are article-based learning. Even for systems like Moodle, which is a KMS, mainly they are article-based learning. So again, what Samitha said, that we are not very fond of reading, right? So that is reflected in the online learning scenario, where most of these are actually video lessons or gamified lessons. So you watch videos and learn, or you listen and learn. You don't actually read, and you do and learn, which is gamified. So gamification is there. So it's like a game where you have to do puzzles and then learn like that. So code.org does a pretty good job in that area. They have collected thousands of, not hundreds of good quality courses on learning how to code, and then put them up. So most of them are actually pretty simple games. Like there's a monkey and you have to catch a banana and you have to collect the bananas. In order to do that, you have to actually learn to code, right? You have to use if statement loops to make sure that bridges and the roads are aligned so you can reach your banana like that. So it's pretty engaging for kids as well. Udemy, yes, it's a really good global platform, which I have based my platform elearning.lk on, is Udemy. Coursera.
Most of these platforms we use for bridge learnings also, right?
Again, gives certificates from the elite university. Can just pay. Hello? Oh yeah, okay. My connection just got a little jarred. Now it's okay. All right, we have enough platforms, so you guys can actually go in and check these out. So that's the end of my presentation.